I want to thank you all for being here. However, this didn't happen by accident, and it would be unfair for me to take credit for this actually happening. I did very little to make this happen other than convene meetings and bring people together. The truth is that very many organizations work very hard to make sure that we have the turnout that we have today, and that it's very clear in your presence and in your testimony the importance of jobs for young people in our city. So I want to thank a few of the organizations that helped make this happen. They include the Mascosh Teen Leads at Work. They include Teen Since we messed that one up, let's also remember to turn off our cell phones. They include Mascosh Teens Lead at Work. They include Teen Empowerment, ABCD, the Boston Youth Service Network, the American Red Cross, the Dorchester Bay EDC, Madison Park Development Corporation, the South Boston Youth Assets Campaign, the City School, Reflect and Strengthen, Maverick Landing, Medicine Wheel, St. Peter's Teen Center, Sociedad Latina, Project Right, and many other organizations. If I failed to mention your organization, it was not for lack of respect or for acknowledgement of your work, but ignorance on my part. And so please feel free to let someone on my staff know that you're here, and I'll make sure to thank you because you deserve that thank you publicly. We have been working with these organizations. This is now our second year in a row doing this type of work, mainly because that's the way I believe government should work. None of us should be in our offices by ourselves making decisions that affect people without including people in that process. And so that's why all these organizations are parties, and that's why they own this hearing. I also want to take a moment, it would be unfair not to do so, but to also thank our mayor and the administration and Mayor Menino. He has been committed to summer jobs. He's level funded summer jobs once again, and in past years has worked very hard by raising private dollars to try to make up the gap in what we've seen in state and cuts in state and federal funding. And I suspect that this year would be no difference. And so I work on a city council of people who are all 13 members of the council have shown their commitment to the issue of summer jobs, to the issue of youth employment, as has the administration here. So it's great to find that issue that we all agree on because we're able to make strong gains. However, your presence here allows us to continue to make that push. So I appreciate you for that. What happens when a young person has a summer job? You know, what's going to inevitably come up, and many of you have heard this already, is that we're in a bad economy. Cuts are indeed inevitable. But the question on the table is, where do those cuts come from? And where do we continue to invest? Government is not immune from the same economic recession that all of our families are in the city of Boston. But families in the city of Boston make this decision every day in this economic reality. That is, where do they spend their money? In the end, it's a statement of values. It is my belief, and I know the belief of many of the members of the city council and that of the mayor, that spending our money and investing in our youth is a must. Frankly, there's very little choice there. And that every dollar we invest in a young person in our city comes back to us more than tenfold. What happens when a young person has a summer job? There are various things that they learn that they don't necessarily learn someplace else. And that includes things as common and as commonsensical as how to show up to work on time and the importance of that. How to dress appropriately to work, how to interview for a job, how to meet deadlines, how to deal with authority, how to let your authority know that you can't meet that deadline. The pride in earning your first paycheck. Anyone in this room who's earned their first paycheck knows what it feels like to open that envelope and see your name and $1 attached because you earned that money with your job. For many, if not most of our young people in the city, taking that same money back home to help your family pay everyday bills, or helping your little brothers and your little sisters and buying things for them that your family otherwise would not be able to afford. Many, if not most of you, use that money to buy your supplies and your clothes to go back to school in September after the summer. But what happens when that summer job doesn't exist? What happened when the options for that young man or young woman is to either stay in the house and watch? And so we're going to work very hard here. As the chairman of this committee, I'll be working very hard to make sure that we minimize that as much as possible and as many young people as possible working this summer. I thank you all for being here. I thank you for your commitment to this issue. And I very much appreciate all the work that the many organizations and the many young people did to make this hearing possible.